Take a little break right now when we come back. We're gonna take a little break right now when we take a little break right now when we come back. We're gonna take a little break right now when we take a little break right now when we come back. We're gonna take a little break right now when we take a little break right now when we come back. We're gonna take a little break right now when we
Hey, how y'all doing out there? Remember, we want you to be an activist. And don't take my word for it. Look that shit up, please. What's up, Pat?
What's the deal? What's the deal?
Man, how you feel?
Oh, wait a
I
minute.
think I feel better.
I'm hearing background.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't hear. On my end, it sounds good.
yeah. No, I had to close YouTube. So
Yeah,
what's
man.
poppin'?
Same old thing, bro. How you feel?
I'm good, man. Blessed and highly favored.
Blessed and highly favored.
I'm being cliche.
Yeah, those sayings we use them a lot. They mean they mean different things for different people, though. I'll say that.
Yeah. Won't he do it?
Yeah.
I love that one.
Check this out. I thought this was a bit interesting. I do have a couple of topics I knew I wanted to talk about, and this is one. I posted this on Instagram. Can you see that picture?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, what I put it, my comment was, oh man, when you look at the big picture, you will understand better. And I said, couple corrections. Israel sits where Palestine was before, and then it's like that's the only correction. And I'm like, history people out there, do you have an argument or an explanation for this? There's a few more pictures. South Africa. I mean, it's gonna follow the same theme. Egypt, England, even
Mhm.
Canada,
Oh, is that Canada? I would have thought that was Asia or something, but okay.
Australia,
Mm-hmm.
and America.
Well, that's still not a. That's closer, but still, that's not exactly America. But yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I roll with it. I get the point.
yeah. All of it's got a bit of but the amount of truth in it is very, very, very heavy.
Oh yeah.
Canada. That's because they're talking about the Inuit. That's what those two girls are, Inuit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but they, you know how they love to like simplify shit. So, and the England one is
And,
interesting.
well, and I mean period. Europe, period.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's gonna be typical. But I mean, the problem I have with it is that that's the main picture of like you know it's total opposite of what supposedly represents those areas. Because I mean, honestly, I mean, for most cultures or let's say countries or whatever, like if you were a metropolis, it was a mixture.
That's what I'm saying. They simplifying the shit out of it, but there's still truth to this.
Oh no,
Yeah.
it's a lot of truth because I mean the majority was the past. What they said then, and then of course now they're showing. Because I mean, no matter how we look at it, I mean, if you're a numbers person, you believe in if you believe in the numbers, it'll show that. I mean, they're a slight minority in the world. You know what I'm saying? I think the last I checked, like a year, 2 years ago, they was at like 8%, and their numbers are declining. So I mean, they're not a majority anywhere.
But it appears that way.
Yeah, but that's one of those deceiving factors from the media.
Yeah. I'm gonna come back to that. I got a couple of before I get
Or shall I
heavy.
say the main? Shall I say the mainstream media?
Um, the Taliban is trying to be nice to women. Wait, I'm gonna play a
What?
bit. Apparently, that's what one of these. I'm gonna flip through these news stories right quick, and we can talk about them. They're 2 minutes each one, but I'm probably not gonna. I'm just gonna. And one of these is kind of for fun. Yeah. Okay. This one.
Who's out monitoring the snowfall. Ryan, what's it look like out there?
Yeah, it looks like snow, just like I predicted in my forecast from the studio. I'm not sure why I'm out here literally looking around. It looks like, just take a video of it snowing and show that. Why do I have to be here to describe snowfall? It's pretty self-explanatory.
Seems like the cold has gotten you in an icy mood yourself, Ryan.
Okay, you know what, Shannon? I am in an icy mood, okay? By the way. All right, I was just standing out here for 20 minutes waiting for you guys to throw to me, and I was just, doing some thinking. I spent $120,000 on a degree and 4 years in college to come out here and look around and describe what I see. I literally learned that in kindergarten. I Spy. It makes zero sense. Also, you know what else I was thinking while we're at it? When it's like a nice day or sunny, you never send me out to the lake or to the pool for a live shot. But when there's a hurricane or snowing or a blizzard or a flood, Send me out there. I'll cover it. Perfect.
I guess you have a point there, Ryan. We're looking at these reports. And the forecast doesn't look good. People are worried. Have you spoken to any locals?
Look around. Does there look like there's any locals out here? Everything is closed. Everyone is inside. The only reason I'm outside is to tell people not to come outside. What am I doing with my life?
Well, you sure are brave, Ryan. Any word on what we can expect overnight?
Yeah, more of this. Actually, 12 to 18 inches more of
Yeah.
this. But don't worry, guys. I'm fine. Don't worry about me. I got this sleeveless vest that you guys make me wear. My literal fingers are about to freeze off. I got frostbite, but oh, it's fine because we got the logo in the shot. Great.
Pretty funny.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Because I find it funny because I think it points out the obvious, you know, the obvious ludicrousness of like our media. Like they be having serious ass shows and it's basically the same as this shit right here. Like but they all serious and shit.
Man, like some of the funniest shit is like when a hurricane is coming and then like they got somebody out on the beach, you know, practically like leaning just to keep the, you know, the wind from totally blowing them over. And they're just out there like, okay, you know, look, the damn computers told us what was happening out here. Why the fuck do I need to be here? It's like, but I ain't gonna lie, man. You know, when you really think about it, like
It
a lot of,
works.
because I mean, the comment that he made that really kind of set in on me is like, you know, look, I paid $120,000 for a college degree
Yeah.
for me to come out here and describe something that I've been doing since the kindergarten.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like they need you locked into them one way or another. So why not put them in debt? And then they're gonna need, you know, just to kind of keep from ruining their whole life. After that, they're gonna come to work. They're gonna, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
That is sad. That is sad. Because what do you do? How do you fight that kind of shit?
shit, man. Well, it's simple for me. It's like, you know, you don't really care about all their trinkets. You know,
That's
just be
simple.
average. Yeah, just be average. Just you don't have to be something fancy or, you know, like that's the biggest problem. People want to go around and act like they just you know, like they're above others or, you know, have some kind of status, which I mean, it don't matter what job you are, you're still human. You're still just another person.
And a lot
You
of
know?
times you still a slave because a good amount of y'all are. It don't matter how much you're getting paid.
They are the biggest slaves. They have to, like, a lot of them couldn't just, I mean, you know, they get they vacations to take off and do this. They, you know, some of them might have a little more money to do extra things, but they're totally locked in.
Locked
Like,
in
yeah,
because of their mortgage, because of their car notes or whatever, because of their kids' school, whatever it is.
because my thing is like, okay, if you got some like some of these newscasters, we're gonna speak specifically to them. A lot of them making $250,000 or more. Some of them into the millions, and you know, with that kind of money, you know, if you really want some security, why not go buy your, you know, 1 year's of your salary of a house. 250, 300,000, 300,000, you know, shit, even if you paid up to $500,000 for a house that you can own in less than 5 years for sure, you know, with still paying everything else. And then just kind of say, fuck it. You go and still do your job, you know. If you spend $100,000 in college tuition, that can be paid off in a couple of years. So I mean, you know, but you know, that doesn't make enough sense for them. They got to go have a $2 or $3 million.
And you know that's brainwashing. You know that's brainwashing because how come it would just make a lot of sense for somebody, most like everybody really, to make enough money to buy this, but you only need once you're an adult, you only need so many things, right? Like you're an adult, you buy those things that you need, like you own them, and then
Yeah.
and then you don't have to really work, like basically work a little bit just to pay like your bills, but you spend all your time, basically doing whatever you want, because all of your toys, all your objects, everything that you have is paid for, and you good.
Yeah.
You got some property, you got a house, you got, maybe you got you a couple of nice cars or truck, you good already. You got everything. You know what I'm saying? So just like, but the system that we live under, it's like keep going to work, keep going to work, keep going to work. You know what I mean? Make more, make more, make more, because you got to make more than your neighbor. Because your neighbor
And
don't outshine you.
what kills me too is that the lack of investing in themselves, or even maybe people close to them, to where, because I mean, the shit's gonna, at some point they're gonna test you, and why not already be in a position where
Right.
you,
And we
you
should be
can
building this in community kind of ways. You know what I mean? In groups. Because again, when the shit hits the fan, you by yourself ain't shit. You finna get crushed. You need a team. You know what I'm saying? You need a group.
definitely. I mean, you definitely need that your inner circle, and then your immediate outer circle, like the people who, what I'm saying, like, you're gonna have your family, your the people that you're trying to, you know the people that you care what happens to them, and those that want to be a part of your inner circle, or they are your community, and y'all try to figure out something where y'all can, do things, because I mean, everybody in the community's got to eat. You know, there's somebody who may have might be have a green thumb. Somebody that can,
Exactly.
can have something. You can get some stuff in place, because let's just
Exactly.
say, let's say you have like, even in a neighborhood, like the way the houses are connected, that fence line that runs right through the middle of everybody's neighbor, house. If everybody takes 2 feet off of each side of their property and start a garden right down the middle of everybody's home, you got 4 feet of stuff that you can grow, nothing but veggies. That's in an urban area.
And you can feed probably the whole little neighborhood, at least supplement their their food intake with some more healthier natural or truly organic,
Yeah,
what I'm saying, vegetables and herbs and whatever you want to grow. And yeah, that's a great idea. I mean, I think I've seen that happening already. Like there are some things like that. So, but they should be bigger. It should be all over the place. It should be everybody's neighborhood. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. And I mean, it would be easy. Like you find like what we saying also, like you say, like being prepared for when they come for you. You need to have people, because I always think about like, the zombie apocalypse, because that's what I like. I like zombies and shit like that. So I think about how life would be, and so you need a team, like we're saying. So a guy that with a green cum, but you also need that crazy ass nigga, the one with all the fucking guns and bullets and shit in his
Oh
cellar.
yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, everybody, like, we all need that. Though there's basic stuff that everybody's gonna need, but because everybody need to be prepared to fight. But there's definitely one that's gonna be maybe the security for that area.
That's
That's just like, I wish
that's
a
exactly what
motherfucker.
I was thinking. It's security, security.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So you
yeah,
need
he
somebody.
waiting for some shit to pop off.
So when you're building your team, or your group or whatever, you need to make sure that you have all those elements in place, because that's a secure. Being able to have some nice shit and no security, it means finna get robbed, basically. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I
You
mean,
got to
and
look
that's
at reality.
that's a lot of the places that they go set up, because not everybody really has alarms, or even like, shit. A lot of people know how to bypass those damn alarms. So, I mean, the middle class is the ones who get hit the hardest with a lot of those robberies, because they're usually simple and easy places to get in and out. And
And these people don't really have that much money. They're just regular Joe schmoes.
yeah,
And yeah.
That's they may have obtained a few things. I mean, shit, you got a few TVs, a few, you might have a little jewelry, you might have, this or that, shit. I've seen people stealing goddamn lawn equipment and like just little shit just to,
You
you
can't
know,
even put your mind into their, way of thinking, like what the fuck they're gonna get. So like, yeah, that shit is totally
but if you got
crazy.
somebody that everybody chips in to pay them you know, something weekly. I mean,
To
if
do
you got
security. Yeah.
yeah, you got 10 people. Let's just say, because I mean, I'm just thinking like if everybody's chipping in $50, if you got 10,
Or
20 people on that block, that's what that's $1,000 a week.
yeah. And you could do the same thing for the person that you wants to make sure that maintain the gardens, because everybody still got stuff to do. They got to go to work or whatever. But there's
Hmm.
somebody in the neighborhood that just be hanging out, and that nigga got a green thumb, and y'all can chunk him some change for his
Hmm.
time so that he can manage the gardens for everybody, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, shit. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, shit. We could even do that for teachers. If we, there's somebody in the neighborhood that's a teacher or that can do some tutoring or whatever for the kids.
And
Shit,
and
everybody pull together and
and this is the answers to everything, because the bit one of the biggest things, and I know you know this, daycare and preschool and all that shit, like the
that's the biggest
cost
charge.
the cost of that shit to parents. And what I be saying about us losing the community is a big reason why the corporations have so much power over us. And that's one of the examples right there, is because we didn't have this problem really. You know what I'm saying? This is a created ass problem because we got to go to work. But before, it was a family, it was a community, grandma, abuela, miss, somebody is there, uncle.
Man,
Um,
where I grew up, there was a lady in the well, there was a couple ladies in the neighborhood, but the main lady in our neighborhood was Miss Ruth. She had like all the kids. She probably was like damn near overcrowded, but something pops up, like shit. We had gotten grown, but like say my nephew comes through, and then we got to go to work. We could easily just like, hey, we need you to watch him. Yeah, bring him on in here. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, there's somebody, there's always, and then it's like a home place. They gonna cook. They gonna have
and it's
like regular food. You know what I'm
way
saying? Like,
better, way better than any of those high priced as fucking daycares with the glass walls and cameras and shit everywhere.
yeah, and then
Way
you're not looking at $200 a week.
exactly, way better and way cheaper. And what happened to that? So that's what I'm talking about. Like, what happened to the community? Because like what I like to bring up is the general store, the corner store. Going to the corner store and being short. You know what I mean? And they'd be okay with that.
Hmm.
And because they know you coming back or whatever.
Yeah,
Like now, all the corner stores are these big corporate gas station type businesses, and they hire. It seems like they hire people from India. I don't know.
the guy that we had that kind of relationship with near our home. It wasn't in the neighborhood, but it was like he was an Indian, and they're not really that fond of most. A lot of I mean, you would think so. On the surface, you think they don't really care for us, but when they see you're genuine people, they tend to open up more. Like they see you come around, you ain't really about that BS. Then they'll kind of
But it's
and
still, you could feel the disconnect related to these big brands, and that
oh yeah, oh no, I mean that's no relation. That's no. Yeah, women. It doesn't help all these kids becoming single parents before they even develop life. Man, that I
I
mean,
wanted to talk about that. Yeah,
yeah, I saw it pop up, but hadn't read it yet. But yeah, man, you're so
because
right.
that's this is the system, and it's set up this way. That's why, like, it's like especially the poorer people, they always tell their kids just to get out the damn house at 18 or start paying bills, because like immediately and this is what I've been trying to tell my daughter, because you have to get ready for this, because the whole system, as soon as you turn 18, 21 or whatever, it's pouncing on you, man, in all different directions. Like it's trying to gobble you up, because it knows, like I was telling Tariq, like it has calculated these, they did the math. They know how much you're going to produce over your lifespan, or how much you're going to spend, rather, how much money you're going to spend over your lifespan. They got a pretty good amount of idea of it. Everybody wants those dollars. You got these companies, these big companies, everybody wants those dollars. So, and then it's like your life, because the, like getting a job or where you work at or whatever, where you spend most of your time, even also the things that you do for fun. You know what I mean? All of that shit consuming you, basically. And yes, fresh meat for the grinder. As soon as you turn 18, you're just and the machine just jumps on you. And we haven't taught them how to pay bills. We haven't taught them about sex education, like he said.
Well, you send you know, you're sending them out to where they're you know, like their resources are limited already, and especially if, like a female, they're probably going to look for somebody that is willing to help, and then it turns out that they're, you know, that help comes with them trading something off. You know what I'm saying? And they're just not ready. Like I ain't gonna lie, man. Even for my son, if he wants to, you know, because I know my mama didn't push us out and kick us out at 18. You know, at some points, I think that you know, learning some of the responsibilities earlier, which, you know, there was not many lessons that, you know, I didn't learn on my own. As far as that, I mean, of course, the examples that she said, you know, of course, my dad said through, you know, through the interactions, because he didn't live with us, but, you know, however, you know, I learned through a lot of, you know, examples, but at the same time, I mean, we got to be specific about teaching certain lessons to them.
This is a lot to learn. It's a lot to learn. All the damn tricks, all the damn scams. Because you know how, like, as we're older now, when we look at something, a lot of times we know it's a scam right off the bat. Like my daughter will bring something to me and show me something, and I'm like, "That's a scam," and she's like, "No, it looks like it's legit or whatever." I'm like, "No, no, it's a scam."
Yeah, and I'll be willing to be like, "All right, well, look, let's test it." You know, I mean, and that's one of those things that, you know, you gotta be willing to do with them, so that you can be like, you know, hey, I've been scammed before. That's how I know. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I've had so much hope for, you know, changing my life and doing this or doing that, and then I'm spending my $30-$40 on some. Say, bro, I'm gonna tell you. Look,
That's how they get you.
let me give you an example, bro. I saw this thing. I was like, you know, because it you know, the way that they expressed it, it seemed like, damn, that makes a lot of sense, but it was total shit.
Yeah.
But like sealing envelopes, like, you know, you'll be an envelope filler, and they'll pay you $1 for each one that you fill, and they'll send you all this stuff in bulk. You fill the stuff for them and mail it out, and because of what they make from it, you know, they make $5-$7. They can pay you $1 easy. And I was like, oh shit, let me get. If I can get I can do 1,000 of. You know what I'm saying? Like, I might be able to do 2,500 if I really focus. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking how much money I can make. It's a bunch of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I mean, it's different things that, I mean, for you to learn, you know, the system, like, because I mean, even before the internet scam, this was way before internet. You know what I'm saying? But the scams were still going on, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I'm saying? So I mean, you know, it might be something that's in a magazine, and you just like, damn, I can make a dollar off of each envelope I fill. Shoot, I can do it. I gotta be able to do at least 100 of them in an
Man,
hour.
and
You know what I'm saying?
those damn pyramid schemes are rampant like a motherfucker. Some of them are even legitimate businesses per se. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying? They're so big that they appear to be legitimate.
By the way, I wanted to say hey to Doc, bro. I appreciate you coming through and chilling with us, man.
Checking us out, yeah, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But
So the Taliban, they said, released a decree on women's rights in Afghanistan. So basically, they was just saying But they still not talking about them going to school or having a job. So, but they're just trying to appear to be, better so that, they can get a seat at the UN and shit like that. Basically just sucking up to them.
Mm-mm.
This thing right here is pretty interesting, man. And I've been talking about magnets and shit. This shit popped up on my feed. I don't know why this kind of shit always like really, really like, I don't know. Call me a crazy
It
nerd,
sucks
man.
you. You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um
I bought my son some stuff that I really want to play with, you know what I'm saying? And it's stuff like this, you know what I'm saying? It's really like some batteries, mechanics, electronic, like little stuff where you can I can't wait cuz like I hadn't been home since I got it for him, and he doesn't really know what to do with it, but I'm sure once he kind of sees, I don't.
see.
Wait a minute, what is happening?
So okay, these are magnets, and this is what I've been talking about, and about the when I was explaining electricity and the flow and how the electricity moves along the thing. All this shit is related, and it's still about the universe too. It's all about this right here. This is what it is, bro. That's why this shit fascinates me beyond belief. It's about the North and South poles too. The dualities. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how
Hmm.
those trains move and shit. And that's what I was talking about too. That's how they make the trains move. Like this is the real technology we should be using for moving. And because you can see how fast it moves, it's
Ooh,
um it shows he's gonna show the polarities because he's got these are magnets. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. So he's got them all facing a particular direction for the north and the south poles. Okay, he's gonna show a diagram that explains. There it is, right there. Look.
yeah.
Oh shit,
No, I
that was
saw it.
fast. Anyways, so just this is the shit. This is the shit right here. Like, so when you can think about the Egyptians and all of that stuff and how they built everything, they had to understand this shit right here better than we do. So, because like, lifting those heavy ass stones and shit like that, like we don't, to this day, we still don't really have the technology. I'm sure it's this. I'm sure it's related to the magnetisms, the electrical freaking
Hmm.
charge. I'm sure it's related to that.
Wow.
I don't know why. I just see. Okay, see, all
This some
North
I
Pole.
say, bro. This some cool shit, man.
He broke the damn. On that one, it showed on one side it was all north. He had all the magnets facing north, and on the other side they were all facing south. So, and it's all about the channel, but in between, you know what I'm saying? And that's how power moves too. That's the same way, like power moves. Because we were talking about the power lines and how like people think that the electricity flowing through those wires, but it's totally not. It's flowing around the wires in this field. And that's exactly how it can move so fast. And it's only moving one way too. Only goes one way.
Hmm.
In one direction. It's kind of like entropy, because entropy is very interesting, because it's like in science it says things can only increase entropy. It can never decrease entropy. So that's also another reason why they feel like time can only go forward.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So when you really think about the universe, you think about magnetism,
Send me that video, man. Oh, I want. No, I
so
need to send that.
satisfying.
I need to send that to Lil Pat, bro. Like I need him to kind of start getting, because I mean, I want him to get into physics and I mean, his mom, his mother's side of the family, they're like him getting into engineering and stuff like that. But I think like at an earlier age, just to be able to kind of tap into different things like this. It'll help him no matter what he goes into.
Yep, yep. That shit right there, I could definitely play just like that. I was a grown ass man doing that shit. I'm sure
Yeah,
he'd be fucking with
and
it
having
all
a
day.
ball, having a ball. Say, bro, say, look, I ain't gonna lie. Like I found myself, with little stuff, like little magnets and this, that, and the other. Just have me a good old little time with it. Shit, almost like those fidget spinners. Like I'm so amazed by little silly stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, but however, um, shoot, he looked like he was having fun with all of that.
Hell yeah.
I wonder
Yeah.
how much all those magnets cost.
Probably don't
And
cost much. They're probably cheap. Yeah.
now I don't know magnets. I don't know how. I don't think they're
Them
that
little
cheap.
ones. That's probably why he was using those. I don't know. I don't know. I never bought. I mean, I used to play with magnets a lot. I don't remember how much. I was a
Yeah,
kid. I was a kid. I probably wasn't even paying for that shit. In the title, I talked about Ghislaine's trial for the first week, and
yeah. Go ahead. I missed a lot of it since.
yeah, so I got a little recap video. It's only 2.5 minutes or whatever, but it break down that. And then
Uh,
they fired Chris Cuomo. Did you hear about that?
I thought he'd been fired.
No,
Well,
he
no, I
was.
thought they made him step down.
No, they told him to go home or whatever.
Wait a minute. That's the dude from New York, right?
Yeah. Well, oh no, see you're mixing it up. The other brother, the mayor, what was he? The governor? I always get confused because New York State and New York City confuses the shit out of me with politics. But anyways, yeah, they made him get out of there because of the sexual stuff. No, I'm talking about the brother who is an anchor for CNN, I want to say CNN. And the brother, Chris Cuomo. And so anyway, so he was helping his brother with that situation, with that Me Too thing he was going through. And apparently he used his power, you know what I mean, in inappropriate ways that was against their rules or whatever. So they at first they had suspended him, but they officially fired him like tonight, like on a Saturday. And that's weird because they fired him like on a Saturday and shit.
Because
I'm
it's the
missing
end of
the.
because it's the end of the week. This is the last day of the week. You didn't served your purpose.
He said
He's
he's building a rail gun.
Oh, that must have been back when with the magnets.
Oh, okay, yeah. The CNN reporter brother got fired for helping hid the mayor brother's misconduct. Yeah, so they fired him officially. So I
Today.
gotta, yeah, I think I want to say today, like, and that's what's weird as hell to get fired on a Saturday. Like,
Well, I mean, the way they get paid, it would.
it ain't gonna matter really because it's gonna be his contract. So that's gonna what it's gonna be. They're gonna whatever his contract. See, when you have jobs like that, you've already signed a contract that they're gonna pay you a certain amount over a certain period of time or whatever. So they're
But
liable to
but
have to, depending on how it was drafted, of course. But they
true.
may have to just pay him the rest of his contract. Like they're letting him out of his contract. Like, okay, we're gonna pay you the rest of the money. But yeah, that means
Yeah,
because
but
see
on
what
on the
happens
certain.
is you always have to renew your contract after it ends. You renew it, right? So that it's like we're not renewing it. That's kind of like how it works with them. They're getting fired, but it's really like we're not renewing your contract.
But under
But
certain circumstances,
they may have to pay
un,
him the rest of it.
possibly, but under certain circumstances, they can cut you. It's you have a contract to where like you may be liable to be there, but the company may not necessarily have the same kind of liability to like you have to stay within certain parameters to be there,
Right.
you know. So they could probably let him go. I mean, they probably won't just, cut him short with no money. That's kind of like how they do police officers. They usually still have a way to send, give you money, whether it's through that union or through whatever. But for TV, they like I said, they may pay out the rest of his contract. You never know.
You
But I
never
was just
know,
figuring
really.
about based on the Saturday, because we got 52 weeks, and if you're basing, on what they owe you, you work to the end of that week, they can easily calculate, okay, this is week 44, then, off.
Yeah, but these people don't get paid like that. They're getting paid. It's not on a scale like that.
Yeah, well,
Sexually exploited.
Check it out. This is the Ghislaine Maxwell.
The first
they
witnesses in the
actually in
trial of
court?
British socialite
Like
Ghislaine
this
Yeah, the
Maxwell
court
cameras
is.
was the in
stand
court?
this week
Oh
in
no,
the
no, no,
Manhattan
no.
federal courtroom.
They're not.
Maxwell is accused of helping the late financier Jeffrey
They must have
Epstein
got some.
sexually
Yeah,
exploit
this is
girls.
not from inside court. This
She
is
has pleaded
something
not
else.
guilty to 8 counts of sex trafficking and other crimes linked to the alleged abuse. Her attorneys argue she is being scapegoated because Epstein killed himself in 2019 and cannot be prosecuted. On the other side, prosecutors call Maxwell a predator who preyed on vulnerable young girls. Moira Kim Penza is a partner at Wilkinson Steckloff and is one of those closely watching the trial.
The prosecution gave really a very by-the-book opening statement that really laid out very clearly what the charges are against Maxwell. You saw from the defense that they took a number of different tacks, issues of memory, how they were going to look at issues of money that certain of the victims have received in the wake of Epstein's death.
The first of 4 victims to testify was Jane, who teared up as she recounted her repeated abuse by Epstein when she was 14 years old in the mid-1990s. Jane said Maxwell showed her how Epstein liked to be massaged and sometimes participated in their sexual encounters. On Friday, a green massage table seized from Epstein's Palm Beach estate was shown in the court.
Jane's
Oh, shit.
testimony was very emotional, very powerful. The cross-examination, it sounds like the defense was able to do a little bit of showing that there are things that Jane did not remember.
Other key moments from the trial include testimony from a longtime house manager and Epstein's personal pilot. Juan Alessi worked until 2002 at Epstein's Palm Beach estate, where he said he was expected to be blind, deaf, and dumb. He recalled cleaning up sex toys from the massage room and storing them in Maxwell's bathroom. Pilot Lawrence Vazowski's testimony provided jurors an insight into the lifestyle of Maxwell and Epstein. He said Britain's Prince Andrew and former US Presidents Bill Clinton and Donald Trump flew on Epstein's plane multiple times. Prince Andrew, Clinton, and Trump are not accused of criminal wrongdoing. The trial will resume on Monday and is expected to last until January.
So what you think about that?
That what I was trying to think of what they called that kind of evidence where, like, it's physical evidence, but like it was to strike that emotion and psychologically bring her to a state of mind where she, I guess, remembers certain objects from that time, that period, or whatever.
And I swear, one thing I don't like about the way they do that stuff is because I feel like a lot of people be getting enjoyment off from that shit. Like they be getting off on that shit. Like they really enjoy taking the person through this painful thing again, and they just kind of like enjoying that shit. Like it's fucking pleasure.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess that element does exist, but at the same time, I mean, you're trying to, I think if they're doing it in a case like that, I mean, sometimes they have to because to really trigger or to give the jury, a piece of what that person might have felt, and to see how they react to something as simple as a table, what we might just consider a table, what kind of memories that brought back to that person. So I mean, can we say that it's truly effective? I mean, I really don't know, but I can kind of see that's where they were going with that. But I really do think that, I mean, not that to take anything from Epstein, because I really believe he was the mastermind or had, like they naming him the financier. So he's definitely, was big in the case. But for her, she's the one who's really psyching out these women, getting them comfortable, dropping their guards, and then bringing them into some of the deepest dangers that they've ever experienced.
Yeah, so we're gonna see what happens with this. Like I said, I think they're gonna use her as a scapegoat, and she's gonna go down, but it's not gonna be no whole bunch of time though. Doc said the left eats its own. He spent the last 6 years throwing shade at the right. Now he's not useful anymore. Talking about Cuomo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't
And
sure because I was, for whatever reason, I was thinking, based on what we just heard about because the Trump, the Clintons, the different people who may have been involved with this trial is where my mind went. But yeah, I see now, because he said he spent so much time, talking about the right side, to where, like, I mean, because they're all showing their faces. Like, I mean, the evil that's been hidden is coming to light, and pretty much like what they said, everything that's done in the dark comes to the light. So you you're gonna see a lot more of that. A lot of, especially like politics, it's something's brewing, and like they can't keep a
so
lid on it.
yeah, so back to the trial. So how does that relate, you think, to politics? Because they keep mentioning Clinton, Trump, and Prince Andrew.
It's a precursor. It's to prepare people to, hey, all these people that you put a lot of trust in and hope in, you're gonna see how big of animals they really were. Like, I think it's really setting the stage for people to realize that these things that you hoped were not true, especially if because a lot of people love the Clintons. That was in a lot of people's minds, especially black people. That was the first black president. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people had a lot of love for the Clintons. Even like just recently with Trump, if he shows to have as much involvement as they say, like, that's gonna have a lot of white people that's gonna be like, oh my God, I can't believe it. He's the one that was pushing like, because he really has been in you know pushing these investigations on the human trafficking, because it's like it got to be such a big deal. America first, is this whole idea. So, and that was one of the things that they felt that needed to end, to really bring all these people from the deep state out in the open. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I think it's gonna really set the stage for it's setting the stage for the things that's gonna come out.
I
Because,
think
like
you're
I said,
right.
these U.S. Marshals, like I said, I think I was mentioning the other night. I mean, they've been, to these are the badass cops. Like, these are real cops. U.S. Marshals are, they're like Texas Rangers. You know what I'm saying? Like, how the badass Texas Rangers are. U.S. Marshals is on the same level, if not, more serious, if you can get more serious. But like, they've been doing a lot of stuff that the average person, may not know about. Because, I mean, not many people read newspaper. Even if you find it online, a lot of people don't really sit back and watch it. A lot of people, see the headlines, and a lot of times that's enough for them. But the headlines are very tricky these days. Like, it's a setup, for you to, because, I mean, you have to read the full article to really know, because they'll like, um they'll talk about how great the government is doing for certain demographics, and then it was just a catch piece, like something just to catch people's attention, because they know most people are not going to read it. you know and they can have that's the thing that stays in your mind. But
Hmm.
then they get
And then
into the detail. Then they
no
get
data
into the
behind it. No data behind it at all.
no, nothing, no supporting evidence at all.
I know
But
what you
they
mean.
can put that that misleading title, because most people are gonna see that that title, and it's like, yeah, okay, well, good. You know what I'm saying? They think that, the people in office are doing the right things by the people. But then when you really get to the meat of it, you realize that that's another freaking
Lie.
mayo and mustard sandwich. There's no meat in it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, it's a lie. It's a lie sandwich.
Yeah, pretty
uh,
much.
he said, "Have you seen a list of people that took Epstein flights? It will surprise
We
you."
showed it the other night, didn't we?
Yeah, well, all the people that was on that docket. I don't know if that was related to Epstein sock flights,
Well, I
but
think that was, well, you know what? I think that was one of the list of the guests that people that had gone to his estate, one of his estates.
yeah,
Uh, I don't know if it was Palm Beach or if it was the island.
the Virgin Islands, probably that one.
Yeah, but that, and it showed a lot of, because I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I would be somewhat disappointed if, like, for some of the names I heard, because the Jay-Z's, well, I mean, I guess I probably wouldn't be that surprised about Jay-Z, but Kanye West was one that I was like, oh man, maybe that's one of the reasons why he's doing a lot of this repenting, or trying to get himself closer to God now because of some of the things that he's done in his past. I don't know. I mean, but yeah, some of those names were like, oh man, but I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter, no idols. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I might respect people's arts and,
That's
some
how
of
I
the things
look
they
at
might
it.
do, but
Yeah,
at the same time, it
you
doesn't matter if
you res- you respect the work is what you respect. You know what I mean? What they did, you can still appreciate what they've done as far as their work, and
Mhm.
what the person that they are, or whatever. You can detach that.
I think R. Kelly was on the list, and see, and that's one of those things, because I think that might be a part of what might, because he started talking about he was gonna start putting out names and stuff too, so that could lead
And
in
since they got
to
him, I
us.
guess. And then if I was him, I would be trying to shorten my sentence and be
Well,
like,
yeah,
can I snitch on? And who can I snitch on, bro? For y'all to what name y'all?
but at the same time, a lot of them that's reach high places in the entertainment field, like, a lot of them have done some wicked stuff in order to get that contract, or to be able to at least maintain what they had started getting, because that initial contract may not have been what led them there, but for them to be able to get multiple contracts, or get, you know for them to be able to grow to what they did grow to, I think some of them have crossed the line back and forth, and some of them enjoyed it. Most of them might have enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just like, oh yeah, this is what I want to be a part of. Some of them is just kind of like, okay, this is what I had to do for my family, because now,
And I
you
think
know what I'm saying?
I think it's a lot of us out there like that, because if you end up in this crazy ass party, you may not even agree with this shit, but this is connected to like your livelihood, literally. Like these are people you can't piss off, or that's your damn chick.
Yeah, and I agree, because I agree with what Doc is saying. I don't know if to call you Chris or Doc. I like Doc, but you know what Doc is saying is because, like, what Cat Williams, he was like, he's been to some of these parties. Like, it says like he got invited to the party, and he's looking in these rooms, and he see these different things going on. It's from his testament, he didn't involve himself in all of that. So it's a good possibility that some of them were just there, and maybe they're decoys, like somebody just having these big parties with the rich and famous and this, that, and the other,
And shit going on in the
this
back room, and you're
yeah,
not really involved in it.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that is highly likely, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I don't want to just put it on everybody, but, I am looking at the fact that, I guess maybe preparing myself that, if these people do have more to do with it than I would like to believe they, they do. You know what I'm saying? I maybe that's for my own,
Yeah.
my own preparation for all of that. But
Yeah.
either way, it is highly likely that is the case. That some of them were just there.
So the thing is, you don't know which names.
You There has to be somebody who's just gonna be like sick and tired of holding it in their heart and just like, yes, it was me and them and them and them and what I'm saying, like
But
it's gonna.
especially if they catching cases, that's what I'm saying. Like if R. Kelly knows something that can get his case shortened, that nigga probably talking to somebody right now.
Yeah, say, bro, if something happened to R. Kelly, we already know. Because I'm gonna tell you, like one of the people I think he really wanted, because I mean I've heard different things over the years that nobody truly had substance for. But shoot, like Jay-Z, like like Jay-Z ended up cutting him off on that. You remember that album, the best of both worlds?
Yeah, they was on tour together, and then the tour just ended abruptly halfway through. Yeah.
Yeah, so he tried to separate himself fully from that because you know he didn't really want to be implemented within it, which I get, but at the same time, you know, um, we've heard the rumors of him and Aaliyah. You know, she was another one. Like I think after R. Kelly, like that was one of the people that was trying to get at her, knowing she was underage.
Yeah.
You know,
I know she used to date, what's his name? Dame Dash.
see, and that might be another one. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a lot of stuff that was going on in the '90s that they thought they were invincible during those times, and this is they shoot, this is the rich and famous that think that they can get away with whatever. So it was a totally different mindset than what they might carry today. But at the same time, I mean, you know, I don't think it really matters to uh the public or even whoever may be bringing up cases against them, how they feel now was what is this was what happened, right? Because I mean, this whole Me Too thing. I mean, shit, they bringing up shit against Bill Cosby from the '70s. You know what I'm saying? That's when shoot, I was a baby. I was, what I'm saying, a young kid when all this stuff happened. Here I am, in my 40s where they
And now they
gone.
took this man to jail.
Yeah. So I mean, if they can be that crucial, that I mean, shit, that's 20 years difference. I mean, they went 20 years past the '90s when a
Yep.
lot of this. So I mean, anybody, I feel like
That's a very good point.
the way things are looking, anybody can get it.
That's a very good point, man. That's some scary shit too for a lot of people out there. I'm sure they're like, damn, them niggas, because they may just be like, sitting in their room, like, damn, them niggas might be coming for me. They might be coming for me for real.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, they didn't had a couple of, well, I say a couple, but there's one major person that was at the top of hip hop that moved to a whole nother country.
Russell Simmons.
Bingo.
Yeah, Russell Simmons did that because he was getting Me Too, and it looked like he might have caught a case, and he totally did that. He went to a whole nother country, a country that he couldn't get extradited from, and that's where he lives. Yeah.
He's not coming back.
He's not coming back. He bought land out there and everything. Yeah, he lives. That's his house now. Yeah.
Yeah. So
CNN announced on Saturday.
That's one of the reasons why I can say that this is some shit that's bigger than what we think. But yeah, no, I'm ready. I was just.
Yeah, let's listen to Chris Cuomo get fired.
CNN announced on Saturday that it has fired news anchor Chris Cuomo after additional information came to light during an investigation into his efforts to help his brother, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, respond to allegations of sexual misconduct. The cable news network released a statement saying in part, quote, "We retained a respected law firm to conduct a review and have terminated him effective immediately." Cuomo, who hosted CNN's most watched primetime news show, had been suspended on Tuesday. He admitted in May that he had broken some of the network's rules in advising his brother on how to handle the allegations from a public relations perspective. In a statement on Twitter, the 51-year-old said he was disappointed, writing in part, quote, "This is not how I want my time at CNN to end, but I have already told you why and how I helped my brother." Andrew Cuomo was forced to step down as governor in August after multiple allegations of sexual misconduct. He has denied any wrongdoing. Cuomo was initially suspended after New York Attorney General Letitia James showed text and other messages in which he sought to use his own sources in the media to find out information on the case and the women involved in it. A criminal complaint charging Andrew Cuomo with a misdemeanor sex offense was filed on October 29th in a New York court.
And you know what? I guess I've seen both of these guys, and I don't know the name Cuomo. I maybe I've run them both together at different times, but yeah, that's kind of hard, bro. I mean, there's certain things like when it comes to family, you do stupid shit, try to protect the people you love. You know what I'm saying? But hey, I guess it just is what it is. They really have anything specific about what he did? That's why it was so bad.
It really, honestly, it doesn't sound that bad to me, honestly, and I think that goes back to Doc's comment about how the left eats itself. Because I mean, it really doesn't sound that bad. I mean, it's and because even Chris Cuomo keeps saying like, hey, I helped my brother, like anybody would have done it, and I can't even really argue with that. Like, I don't think anybody can really, you know what I'm saying? He used what because he's a journalist and lawyer and all of that shit. So he was advising his brother how to deal with the situation he was going through, and also using his tools and information that he had at hand to give his brother as many advantages he could have in his situation.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, I may have found myself in the same place. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if I really don't know all of the details in the charges that his brother has. Well, because this is Chris, so that's what's the brother's name? James.
Andrew.
Andrew. Yeah. So I don't know all the details and what it was, how horrific it may have been, or this, that, and the other. But like I said, that's a tough one, bro. Like, I mean, I can try to be all, like I'm a goody two shoes or something like that. But when it comes down to it, I mean, you got certain people in your life. It don't matter what they do, you're gonna try to protect them.
And even though he was bending the rules, he knew he was bending the rules, but his brother was really going through it as the fucking governor. Like, they're really coming at his ass. So, they brothers, they probably played in the sandbox together. You can't. So Doc wrote, it's kind of ironic. After all the biased reporting he's done, he gets fired for an ethics charge for helping family.
And
wow, that's heavy.
But I mean, but I ain't gonna lie, yeah, he that is very true. That's a perspective that I guess I hadn't considered yet. But yeah, he has done some. He's trying to put some people in the dirt. So like he's done some stuff where he tried to make other people look worse than in situations that might not have been as bad as what his brother is doing, and digging a hole for him. But I mean,
see, they okay with you bending the rules as long as you're doing it for the network or whatever. Yeah, if you're doing it to not help the network
for the story, the story.
Yeah, so they like you using our resources and time and shit to help your brother. Nigga, you supposed to be writing stories or some shit. Go record a damn video or something, motherfucker. What the fuck is you doing? No, you fired.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I be talking about with the slaves. A very high paid slave. And that's the same reason why he's saying, when we talk about the biased stories, That's because that's the shit that they giving him that he got to regurgitate for his fucking big ass check. He was one of the biggest anchors. Like, he drew the most for CNN. I want to say he had the highest rated show on CNN.
Yeah.
So yeah, so they just shot
Well, I
themselves in
mean,
the foot.
if that's the case, then he's one of the more higher paid. Then, so I mean,
Exactly.
it's not like he's going to be hurt because I mean, if what's the dude's name from? I think he's from Baton Rouge. He works for CNN. The black guy for the gay black guy for CNN. What's the dude's name? Oh, he no longer helps control the narrative. He has become the narrative. Yeah, looks that way. I mean, but like that's just like that's kind of how a lot of these things happen. And shoot, maybe he was one of those people that's been over the Epstein's Island. You know what I'm saying? You never know, man. A lot of this crazy kinky stuff that's you know
But I
we
think the main thing that we have to focus on this is because, like, okay, we beating up the left, but they all do this, right? All of the big anchors do the, as far as the bias stories and regurgitating shit that is not their own words, especially the ones that are getting paid a lot of money.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would say that all of them have to follow the protocols of what comes with their job, and I
Don
think
Lemon, is
Don
that who you
Lemon's
were?
who I was thinking. Yeah,
See, Doc knew what you was talking about. I didn't know.
yeah, Don Lemon. Because I mean, I know he's probably makes about $4 million a year, so he might be at 10. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's not like they're gonna go. They're gonna
Oh
be
yeah, I don't have
shuffling.
no sympathy for this guy. I have no sympathy. Fuck no. You gonna
Yeah,
go cry on
but
your
but
yacht,
but but
Cuomo.
what? But I'm gonna tell you. I mean, me personally, and maybe it's one of my biases, and I don't really think it's a bias. I just see this the way I see how a lot of these people act is that like a lot of them do act like they're so righteous, and as if they can speak on other people as if they're so harmful to the world or their how their ridiculousness because of their own views or whatever whatever the situation might be, and then it turns out that they're just as human as the next man. You know what I'm saying? Like they when the shoe is on the other foot, you're gonna either slide, try to walk in them the same way that the other person would, you know. So I mean, that's one of the things that I guess gets me the most about people like this, because I've been trying to do better by the whole leftist, rightist, liberal, conservative, whatever. But what's it? What? I didn't hear about that.
I haven't heard that yet either.
And he messing with.
Excuse me.
God bless you. That's pretty interesting too. So I mean, they might be trying to take down a whole fleet of them. You know what I'm saying?
But
And
like I say, they all crooked as fuck. So, and like he said, the left eats itself. That's what they do. But you already know, like I said, it's gonna be a whole nother way that they gonna be getting the people on the right. So I mean, if we think about it good enough, we could probably just think of it right now because the strategies they do don't never be new. It's always the same playbook.
well, I mean, you got to think because I mean, the example I use a lot of times that like people don't, that seem to forget, and I'm so happy to remind them, is like the same person that because if the ties were different, if Trump wasn't running against Clinton, he would, because he had to switch from being a Democrat to a Republican in order to run against her. So he could have very well been a Democrat
A new intelligence
running.
report obtained by CBS News says Moscow.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, he could have very well been running on a Democratic ticket if it hadn't been Clinton that was already there, who was a firm Democrat, and DNC already, backing her.
And I'm 100% sure that Biden did not even want to run. Like they forced him in there. They was like, "Get in there, Biden.
I'm gonna kill your ass.
Get in there, buddy. We
Yeah,
need you.
I mean,
We need you. Get in there."
Him lingering on from the that Obama administration is the main thing that they had, because they didn't really have anybody that was strong enough to go against them, to go against Trump, like the DNC. Like, they had all of their chips in one barrel, and there was nobody well known enough that could come out and people would say, yeah, all right, I'll go with this person, even though you know both of these people are probably just as racist as the other. Like, I mean, it's would be a true competition to decide who might be I mean, if you really, because people bring up stuff from the 70s, and I mean, they got the same kind of stuff on on Biden in his early years. So I mean, yep, I mean, maybe people change over time, but for me, I think a lot of core stuff sticks with people.
Yeah, but I don't think you should be able to. I don't know. I ain't even gonna comment on that. Here, let's check this out.
Biden says he will make it, quote, very, very difficult for Russia to invade its neighbor, Ukraine. A new intelligence report obtained by CBS News says Moscow is mobilizing 175,000 troops for a possible invasion in early 2022. The president was asked about Russian President Vladimir Putin's intentions as he left the White House on his way to Camp David late Friday.
Aware of Russia's actions for a long time, and my expectation is we're going to have a long discussion.
CBS's Christina Ruffini covers foreign affairs in the White House. Christina, what is the White House doing to try to head off a potential international security crisis?
International
Jamie,
security
just a little while
crisis.
ago, the White House
Way to
released
fucking
this statement
Ukraine.
saying the two presidents
what does that
will have
mean?
a phone call. That's President Putin and President Biden on Tuesday. It also says President Biden will underscore U.S. concerns with Russian military activities on the border with Ukraine and reaffirm U.S. support for the sovereignty and territorial integrity of that country.
Why
now,
do we care?
A spokesperson for the National Security Council said they are deeply concerned by evidence that Russia is stepping up its planning for military action in Ukraine, possibly by early next year. And an administration official tells CBS News Russia intends to mobilize twice the number of troops into that contested eastern region of Ukraine. Now, remember, Russia has held parts of that country since 2014 when it annexed Crimea. The Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin was also asked today what the U.S. would do, since Ukraine is not a member of NATO, if Russia invades further. He said he didn't want to speculate on hypothetical situations, but that the U.S. would make sure Ukraine had the means to defend itself. He also said he believes there is still room for diplomacy. Jamie?
We'll be watching this closely. Christina Ruffini, thank you.
Well, let me give some balance to that story before we talk about it, because I've already looked at this, and Putin said that he don't even have no intentions of going into Ukraine. Like, he's good, and they haven't mobilized no troops or no shit like that now, other than what they had already had set up before. So the news about this is all just like it's really a provocative measure for the United States, how the United States does that posturing thing that it does. It's really to kind of rev up its own public, like us, the Americans, and to kind of whip us into kind of a bit of a frenzy about nothing, because it's really about nothing. And so it's a big nothing burger. And at this point now, things could change over there. So like, some of the stuff they're saying is true, except it looks like Russia is good with Crimea. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of those people in Crimea and in that area, in other parts of Ukraine, feel like they're Russian anyways. That's how they feel. That's one of those borders that a lot of people don't understand. Like I be saying all the time about these borders, the people stretch across these borders. That cultural region stretches across that border.
Yeah, and the cultures, like, I mean, they're so close to really. Is it okay? Room for diplomacy would lead us to believe that we have competent diplomatic leadership. Yeah.
And like I say, it's a big nothing burger anyways. It's just
Well, for me, it definitely gives me a big question mark because this type of things have happened to us so many times to where like my trust of their movements and what they're telling us their movements are about just kind of leaves me to just like I just don't know, because like a lot of times we've come up with a bunch of nothing in the end, because like when the truth comes out, we find out that it was it was just a bunch of bullshit from our very own country.
And that's what this is, I'm telling you. And that's what that's why I try to talk about world events and a lot, is to try to get the politics connected across the borders, because it's a geopolitical scape. You know what I'm saying?
Because I mean, as far as I'm concerned, based on what I'm hearing, and this is speculating, that they're probably trying to have an excuse to put a base in that region.
Yeah, like that, and then that kind of goes with the money, just an excuse for budget. You know what I'm saying?
Another way to try to extract resources and steal from somebody.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I guess is a common theme for a lot of these countries, but at the same time, I mean, I don't want us to just look at it as if they're just going there to protect.
But even at the end of the day, regardless of what's happening, what the hell does it got to do with the United States? You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, so what if Russia wanted to take all of Ukraine? So what?
Well, militarily, I mean, you just think about it. I mean, the more momentum another country builds.
All of that used to be Russia.
Well, I get it. And, like that separation happened for whatever reasons that, maybe I don't know about, because they separated for what reasons. That's some of the stuff that we'll have to go into in that history.
It was the
because it was the USSR, right?
This is very interesting.
The Soviet Union, yeah.
And I always, this is what I point whenever I point to the point of the Chernobyl event as the last little straw, the tip that broke the camel's back, that led to the Bolshevik Revolution and all of that shit, that brought Russia, the USSR, down. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's really a long story. I tell everybody, because look, you learn from these events, because like the people were starving. You know what I'm saying? It always comes down to that. The people hungry, and the government not being able to like function and provide food for these people. So the people like, you know what? Fuck that. We finna fucking fix this shit ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And that's when you get revolution. That was the breaking. Too many hungry people was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Well, I mean, my thing is, I would want to hear what the Ukraine's leadership would have to say, because potentially they might want that.
Exactly, I'm telling you, it's parts of them that don't, but it's parts of the community that does. It's kind of like a Brexit, because, like I say, it's that used to be Russia, so there are some independent elements there where people want to, maintain autonomy or whatever. But there's a population of Ukraine that wants to be a part of Russia. It's a real thing.
Because I mean, that's the higher power, right? That's who's actually pushing the agenda and showing growth.
Well,
correct?
It has more to do with the culture, the languages that they speak, the people that they relate.
Well, I mean, people can have their cultures regardless. I mean, that. But that's what, to me, it would have to be it had to be something bigger than just that, because culture is within the people. They're gonna have that no matter what. I mean, regardless of what the borders say, right. Or like, I mean, people gonna have that regardless. So, I mean, that's why I say, you know, it has to be more with resources and obtaining certain powers that they need for that, you know, that side of the border. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Something
So
that's different.
yeah.
It's got to be something. This stuff is always intricate. You can never just like simplify it to a like one factor anyways. You know what I'm saying? These kinds of things are always going to be very complicated. That's what I say. I have done some pretty good studying on the like Bolshevik Revolution and all of that. But I am not no expert over there, so I'm not gonna talk about that stuff too much because it's like it's super complicated. You know what I mean? It's a whole mess. You
I'm
know?
sure.
Yeah.
I'm not adept in it myself, so I mean, but I mean, I can look at it generally and just knowing just based on, you know, nature, human, you know, just our human interactions with things. I mean, the need for to grow, you know, for them to move, you know, the way they're suggesting would have to mean something much more than just, you know, obtaining culture. You know, it's got to be way bigger than that.
But look, let's look at this aspect related to that. Like Russia being the big country that it is, and you can see what brought it down. It was kind of like itself, and so like America can learn a lesson from that, right? Because no other country could bring America down, and that's what I be saying. The only country that can bring America down is America.
True. That's 1000%. But I mean, and maybe this is just their way of being able to, you know, regain the same, you know, because I mean, I don't know to say if it's all about power, because I mean, some of these people, like when you hear their side of the story, when they speak of the events from their point of view, and a lot of times is not what we've been taught, or you know, the message that's been spread.
Because it's always a narrative. History always has a narrative. That's what they teach us too. You know, it always has a narrative. You have to kind of like pick a part of it. And that's why I like to focus on the data, you know, the information, what happened. Just tell me what happened. Don't give me no damn narrative. Tell me what happened.
It would be easy. It would be easy for me to suggest that, you know, America is afraid of that uniting again, that union growing back into what it was, because it only makes it, you know, harder for them, or, you know, because I mean, if Putin's gaining different powers, because I mean, I, from what I understand, through their fossil fuels, because they're the ones that's going to be going into, you know, shit, the 20 between now and the 2050, they're probably going to have the highest growth in fossil fuels, you know, them in China. And they, you know, they kind of run hand in hand, you know, because they're allies with each other. So it's kind of like that could present a bigger problem. And maybe it's just I mean, it's really so hard to really say, because I mean, my distrust for what they tell us in our media is, you know, like it's hard for me to just jump aboard and say, you know, okay, well, if that's what we need to do, then let's do it. You know, I just like, okay, why are we messing with these people? You know, if that's what they want to do, let them do it. If nobody's asking for help, then, you know, just let them be.
Okay, so let's hear what Putin has to say. This is December 1st.
В ответ мы вынуждены были, хочу это подчеркнуть, вынуждены были начать разработки гиперзвукового оружия. Это наш ответ. Не мы же это сделали сначала. Сначала наши партнеры вышли из договора по ПРО, потом из договора по ракетам средней дальности. Теперь вы спросили про Украину. Где эти красные линии? Если на территории Украины возникнут комплексы какие-то ударные, подлетное время до Москвы будет, значит, там 7-10, а в случае размещения гиперзвукового оружия. сейчас испытали и успешно. И с начала года у нас будет на вооружении уже новая ракета морского базирования гиперзвуковая 9 махов. Подлетное время будет для тех, кто отдает приказы, тоже 5 минут. И создание таких угроз для нас и есть красные линии. Но я надеюсь, что до этого не дойдет. Надеюсь, что чувство здравого смысла, так и ответственности и за свои страны, и за мировое сообщество все-таки будет проявлено.
So it kind of sounds like what you were saying about, you said that the whole thing is about, Russia being mad about the U.S. trying to get close to the Russian border and using Ukraine as an excuse.
The situation in and around Ukraine remains fluid and unpredictable. There is no certainty about Russia's intentions. We see a significant and unusual concentration of forces, which is unjustified and unexplained, and accompanied by heightened rhetoric and disinformation. And we know that Russia has used force before against Ukraine and other neighbors. Today, ministers discussed the situation. We stand united in our aim to deter Russia from any further aggressive actions. We call on Russia to be transparent, de-escalate, and reduce tensions. Any future Russian aggression against Ukraine would come at a high price.
Any further aggression on Ukraine will come at a high price. Like I think Biden said those exact same words. That's how you know that shit be written by somebody else.
It's systematic. But yeah, I mean, most of the news is done that way. But however, I don't know.
What you think about that video?
Because I mean, I'm still trying to understand, because he said something about some of his partners pulled out of a treaty, which would be, I'm assuming of the, Ukraine, and he says that, this is not something that he started. This is something that, has been coming from, I guess from that direction, from the east, from Ukraine, or would that? No, I'm just trying to put it together, because I mean, I'm up there trying to read it. It's different from me just hearing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. This is gonna be interesting. Because it looked like nobody's willing to back off.
I don't know how to spell this. See, this is probably the same. Yeah, this is the same clip. They chopped the shit out of it though. But he said if strike systems are deployed on Ukraine soil, the estimated flight time will be 7 to 10 minutes. Basically, he's talking about what he's mad, what his concerns are. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all can't be freaking sitting right here, bro. Like next to me.
Russian leader Vladimir Putin is warning NATO that deploying troops to Ukraine could cross what he calls a red line. And the warning comes as Russia is building up its military presence at the border between the two countries. Ian Lee is following.
This is a talking head piece. I didn't realize it, so I shouldn't have clicked on it.
But maybe it gives a little context, in English.
Nah, I like to go to source material, and because anything that has to do with like Russia, filtered through our media, is probably not going to be good.
Okay, so is there anybody else in the region that is going to be fair about
it? It's just that outside of the U.S., it's it's like the post-Cold War type shit. So like the UK might be more honest.
Well, but see, I mean, that's the whole thing, that they're part of NATO, and that's somewhat rivaling the Russian government off top. So
Al Jazeera is
their
pretty
point
good.
of view,
Tensions are high
is
once again between
My
Russia
bad.
and
Hold on.
Ukraine. Moscow's
Go ahead.
deploying troops along the border and keep.
Okay, go ahead. My bad. But I was just trying to cue this one up. I think Al Jazeera is pretty good, but this is a long ass video. But maybe they'll give a sum up at the beginning. Be nice if they do. Let me see. What are they gonna do? Talking head. Looks like some good stuff is in there. Talking head. Hopefully they'll say something at the beginning. What were you saying?
I don't remember.
My bad, bro. I broke your freaking shit. I'm gonna play just a
That's
bit
all good.
at the beginning of this, because usually they give an overall at the beginning
of a possible invasion. Well, what's triggered this? Tensions are high once again between Russia and Ukraine. Moscow's deploying troops along the border, and Kiev is warning of a possible invasion. Well, what's triggered this crisis, and can it be contained? This is Inside Story.
When he said possible invasion, that doesn't necessarily mean from Russia. Damn it.
Russia's 41st. I'm Imran Khan. Ukraine is accusing Russia of mobilizing tens of thousands of soldiers near their shared border. The movement of Russia's 41st Army units has raised fears a military offensive might be on the way. It's the second time this year Moscow has amassed combat-ready forces in the region. On Friday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Russia was planning a coup to overthrow his government. Moscow rejected those allegations and blamed Kiev and the US for the escalating tensions. President Joe Biden says he's likely to speak to both leaders to ease the dispute. Russia seized Ukraine's Crimea region in 2014 and backs separatist territories in the east. NATO has warned Moscow that any attempt to invade Ukraine would have serious consequences. We'll get to our guest shortly, but first, this update from Charles Stratford in Eastern Europe.
That line about the invade Ukraine, there's serious consequences.
Russia's intentions, of course, remain unclear, but one thing is certain, and that's Moscow continuously denying that it has any intention of invading Ukraine. And that's the kind of language, the kind of accusations that are being made by certain Western leaders and the international media, language that the Kremlin has described as being both malicious and hysterical. We also know, though, that President Putin is very unhappy with the Ukrainian leadership here, describing it as foot-dragging in implementing its side of a peace agreement signed in 2015, an agreement that many analysts say is very much weighted in Russia's favor and could potentially give Russia too much control of Ukrainian internal affairs. Meanwhile, the international community, Ukraine's allies in NATO, the US, France and Germany, for example, warning Russia of serious consequences if indeed there was to be a further escalation. But it remains to be seen just how far they would go to protect Ukraine if indeed such a disaster was to happen.
He wanted to say the line, he flubbed it.
Inside Story in Avdiivka, eastern Ukraine.
He flubbed the line.
The annexation of Crimea in 2014 worsened ties between the West and Russia. Moscow seized the region from Ukraine in March 2014, prompting international condemnation and sanctions. And the following month, war broke out in eastern Ukraine between Russian-backed separatists and the Ukrainian army. More than 13,000 people have been killed in the fighting, and at one point, about 1.5 million people were displaced. Now, in 2015, France and Germany brokered a peace agreement, but efforts to reach a political settlement have failed. Let's bring in our guest, joining us live from Kiev, Alexei Haran.
Talking heads. Okay, what you think? What say you?
I don't care. I don't know. I guess in a sense, I mean, I have an opinion, but you know, at the same time, like
but that's a good comment. That is a good comment because we're way over here on the other side of the freaking globe, bruh. That's the thing. Why is it news? No, seriously though. And then they make it so serious. regardless of what happens over there with Ukraine, and I care about everybody in the planet.
People,
But what
I
I'm
care
saying
about
is
people.
that's not, why would America be so concerned with that? That's my question.
Involvement with NATO. That's it right there. And when America is ready to bully somebody, that's where they go. So, at this point,
How does
that's
censorship and fact checking play a part in these politics? That video was slanted as fuck that I just played. I ain't gonna lie, and it was slanted for United States. It sounded like United States freaking media. He says, "Look at the China-Taiwan situation too. China is literally building air bases in the most used shipping lanes in the world." Yeah, we was talking about that in the other show.
Yeah, they're strategically placing themselves in places that even when it comes to America, they're right there in was it Central America, South America? I forget like what port they bought up. Was it Puerto Rico? I don't know, but I know they're placing themselves. But yeah, I looked at a lot of that stuff they have in Taiwan. Like they building islands. Like it was like, dude, like they ain't playing. Like they got airstrips like in the middle of the damn sea. You know what I'm saying? Where they could like easily strike almost anywhere in that region. The volume is low.
Speaking after a 4-day period in which nearly 150 Chinese warplanes flew into Taiwan's air defense zone.
Jets have been scrambling for real more often as China has stepped up its military patrols.
Xi Jinping is threatening a, quote, new Cold War against any nation that would stand up to communist China.
At this point, it's becoming action, military action that we're starting to see in the form of exercises.
It's probably sending a message to the US, but it certainly marks an escalation of tensions between Beijing and Taipei.
Taiwanese military forces training for a scenario they hope will never happen. A Chinese invasion.
Taiwan don't look weak themselves. Shit.
任何损害中国核心利益的行径，都将遭到中方坚决回击，也不可能得逞。
I'm gonna just watch a little bit more. They're gonna give it.
Taiwan 中国从来没有对世界去讲说他要放弃对台湾使用武力，他现在正在做的就是不断的去准备要使用武力来解决台湾问题。
I think this is actually gonna happen. Like China has been making a lot of changes lately. They like on their shit now.
空中的这个行为之外，我们看到中国的这些演习，它常常会 simulate 会模拟攻打台湾。那这种行为让我们感到非常。
Well, what is very interesting about the Chinese Air Force exercises in the Taiwan's air identification zone is really its magnitude and scale. China would usually send one to three planes at one particular time. This time around, they say they sent over a dozen planes for 2 days. So the magnitude and impact and scale of these exercises really.
So what you think about that shit? I'm probably gonna wrap it soon because it's 3 a.m.
Yeah, you know, when somebody wants their independence, and like, because I mean, I'm assuming it affects China in some kind of way as far as maybe taxes, that's revenue. I don't know what's the important resource that they have in Taiwan that you know. I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't know enough about that to say that. But I mean, just in the whole, somebody wants their own their independence. Like, shit, you making money hand over foot. Like, why? You know what I'm saying? Why you gotta try to? I mean, this is just like somebody who's they're trying to run the whole world. You know what I'm saying? It's just.
But you all have to understand that Taiwan used to be a part of China, and I think if they did like bring them back into China, Taiwan would still hold. It would still, have its individuality, if you will, like the people of Taiwan.
What's a different landmass?
Yeah. Well, they have a bit of a different culture too because their history is a bit different from the mainland. Yeah.
Yeah.
Check out this comment right here. China is one of the few nations that sticks its neck out and defies U.S. sanctions on Venezuela, Iran, the DPRK, and Cuba to trade direly needed goods with these countries. That's a weird word. This is why the U.S. attacks China. China's defiance of the U.S. imperialist agenda is a threat to the U.S. dominance.
U.S. has no dominance.
It's a word.
Not anymore. I mean, we don't have enough consistent leadership for what I'm saying. This whole agenda with the that we've been dealing with the last 2 years is weakening it, and I mean they're putting their sights on certain things that's got their greed in place, and then there's some of these other affairs that maybe they should focus on more than the other things that's gonna keep them from being able to dominate anything. I mean, it's misplaced. Like they have too many misplaced. Like they're not focusing on what government is supposed to focus on. They're worrying about too many little things to where when it comes to the big stuff, they're not prepared. I don't see it. I mean, even though a budget, we have an extremely big budget in military. I don't see the leadership really, doing what because I mean, a lot of the little things that like our president is worrying about should be lingering in our House and our Senate. He's focusing on shit that is not even his job.
This is what I'm trying to say. This dude says, why Iran's fuel tankers for Venezuela are sending shutters through Washington. And this dude, that was a tweet. And so somebody reposted the tweet and wrote a crucial read on how China's backing of Iran and Venezuela prevented the U.S. from stopping Iran's oil tankers. Why the United States did not block the Iranian vessels does not have to do with Iran or Venezuela alone. It has to do with the presence of China behind both countries.
China is like you can see that they've been playing chess. China been playing chess while America's playing checkers.
says China has deep commercial links with Iran, and it has gradually developed such linkages with Venezuela. During the global pandemic, China has flown vital supplies to both countries, but crucially, at the United Nations, China has been outspoken against the regime change policy driven by the United States against both states. It has been the Chinese shield that enabled the tankers to go through what is effectively a U.S. naval blockade of Venezuela.
And and potentially this whole involvement with China has might be a good thing. I don't know the details, but but at the same time, I mean, America finds themselves, holding on to a lot of anger and hate from, centuries behind us with South America, Central America, and, all these different things. And like they will try to punish people today for things that happened so long ago to where like it blinds them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, these are, like you looking at everything as a military stance, but at the same time, I mean, you're also hurting just everyday humans with some of your actions. So, I mean, it's kind of hard for me to really determine.
Because it's so complex. So, but that's how we ended up on this, because we were talking about global politics, and then we're talking about Russia, and then we have to talk about China, then that leads to Venezuela.
Yeah.
A king with the wrong queen can't protect the kingdom if his biggest threat is inside his own castle.
I hadn't. No, I'm gonna order something in a few, but that wasn't me.
Nature.
What is that? A condor?
I hate the freaking sound on this shit.
What kind of bird is that? Is that a condor?
They look like the ones that eat dead animals and shit. Let me see. Can I control the volume on this thing?
What, a vulture?
Yeah, vultures. I don't see no fucking sound for this shit.
Big ass wings on that motherfucker.
Okay, y'all, prepare your ears because it's loud as fuck.
Okay, I can see it better now.
Them hoes big as fuck. It says the hardest working person in the world likely lives in poverty. Hard work almost never translates to wealth, but exploitation of labor often does. The hard work myth needs to die.
You ain't lying about that one. Keep your brain hard at work.
Oh yeah, I saw this. It's a freaking bear. The fucking bear was in the car. My toxic trait is knowing the truth before I ask you a question because I want to see what you look like when you lie. That sound like me, I ain't gonna lie.
Or how, simple you might be. Might not necessarily be a lie, it just might be, your awareness. Let me see where your head live at.
It says scientists have created the world's smallest camera that's the size of a grain of salt. It can produce crisp, full color images like camera lenses.
That should be a good example for some of these people who don't believe that some of these things that's being put into people's bodies couldn't be, some higher technology than what they're telling you. What?
When you're dyslexic and accidentally write to Satan instead of Santa.
Oh, damn. What the hell is that?
Oh my fucking
Oh.
Oh wow! Did I get that on video?
That nigga was on some suicidal shit. I guess he had no choice, huh? He was like, man, I gotta get off of this thing. Oh yeah, I wonder about this. See, me as an anthropologist, but I haven't seen no proof of this stuff. Only little tidbits, but nothing that's concrete. But you see this? It looks like a big foot.
Is that supposed to, that's what I'm saying. Is that really supposed to be a foot?
That's what they're saying.
Like it like the foot fell off in a while I was walking.
But I mean, you see, if you look, it looks like a little waterway here, and someone could have been walking along there, and they would have been leaving. You know, if it was like mud, and you can see how it could.
Oh, so
possibly,
this is just the print that they've cut out.
It hasn't been cut out. It looks like this. You know, this is a photo of an area. You know, and it looks like people are praying to it. And one guy's just sitting there looking. But like I say, if you look along the way, it looks like a little stream here. So that would make sense, you know. That would make sense. That's the kind of shit we look at as archaeologists. So, and fossils of footprints are some of the stuff we use a lot in archaeology, because that's just what all that be left sometimes, you know. And but the way someone walks and all of this stuff and how they imprint their foot and stuff, all of that can give you a lot of information about the animal. So
yeah, the shit, that foot is like bigger than these people.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, but have you ever seen any of that stuff? The giants, like people saying that they found like a giant skeleton, a fossil or some shit.
My thing with I don't know. I mean, I guess there's a lot of questions that I would have, but hey, you know, I'm no professional.
Well, I'm not saying there's no, in my studies, there's no concrete evidence of this stuff. So that's my disclosure. I'm just asking you what you think about it.
What I think about it is that this, I mean, where's the other footprint? Like, I mean, it only had one.
Well, that's what happens with fossils. You know, no telling what happened. It'd be a miracle that the ones that be left. It'd be some kind of special circumstances that caused it to be fossilized. You know what I'm saying? Special kind of clay or special kind of dirt, or that day something crazy happened that buried it or whatever. Like, you know, that's how it happens. You know, you're not gonna find foot like a solid. When we do our studies, you're not gonna find no solid, you know, whole walking path of people's footprints. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm not saying that this is true. This stuff is real. So everybody listening to me, I'm not saying that this is real.
I feel, you know, I feel what you're saying. I mean, well, I mean, I know you're saying it for the people, but you know, I mean, like I said, which I think is supposed to lead me to a bunch of other questions, you know.
And that's totally okay, because that's what science is all about. Trying to answer those questions.
Yeah. Oh damn! You know, hold on, go back.
It says gaining weight when you owe me money is a sign of disrespect. Like, nigga, you over there eating good and shit.
You know what I'm saying?
Pay me my money. Yeah. The two-party system is the most brilliant scheme the American bourgeoisie ever came up with. Now, when capitalism fails, the people can simply blame it on the party they don't like instead of on the system itself. I think that is true.
That's very true.
We got a perfect ass system how the president flops back and forth, and then the Democrats are in charge, and then the Republicans are in charge, and you could be mad at the Republicans while the Democrats are in charge, and
But
go
at
back
the
and
and
forth.
then at the same time, you have to also consider sometimes that it might have been two presidents. You know, the reason why we're experiencing things right now might be from two presidents ago, or you know what I'm saying. And it might be up like say like right now we got a Democrat in. We might have some things that we're dealing with today because of Bush, or you know maybe even Obama, Clinton, or whatever. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that we're dealing with today based on you know other leadership.
Oh man. Okay, this comment right here. If you're unemployed, it's not because there isn't any work. Just look around. A housing shortage, crime, pollution. We need better schools and parks. Whatever our needs, they are all require work. And as long as we have unsatisfied needs, there is work to be done. So ask yourself, what kind of world has work but no jobs? It's a world where work is not related to satisfying our needs, a world where work is only related to satisfying the profit needs of business. Hold on, it goes on. Oh, shoot, I lost it. Give me a second, y'all. This society was not built by the huge corporations or government bureaucracies. It was built by people who work, and it is working people who should control the work to be done. Yet, as long as employment is tied to somebody else's profits, the work won't get done. That's old girl. We was talking about in the other what's the connection to Deion Sanders? Oh, he just used her as an example.
Oh boy, they gave the most simplest looking picture for him. I just look like he just clueless. Like, I don't. You what? You pregnant? It's horrible how they do us, bruh. I mean, I don't think he's the smartest dude. You know what I'm saying?
But that picture.
But no. I mean, period. I mean, you know, I don't think he's a dummy. I don't think he's a dumb person. But I think you know sometimes, well, you know, people get money and they get lonely, and they just, you know, when somebody show them some attention, then it's just kind of, you know, like I don't know. I've been far off of that game a long time. Like, you know, look, I don't care. You know, I'm not just jumping in no bad relationship just because I'm lonely. You know what I'm saying?
He says capitalism works. It's the government interference in unions, finance, and making unfair trade laws that's screwing it up. There's some truth to that because I be talking about how, you know, capitalism is always going to be there. I mean, we're going to be trading regardless. But, you know, but I can't put all the blame on the government, though. That's the only thing that with your comment that I have a problem with is because these private companies have a huge stake in the way things go too, you know.
Well, I'm gonna say it like this because I mean I get what he's saying, and I probably lean a little more toward what he's saying because, you know, it's the government's job to do certain things and to keep the balance between all parties involved. They have a responsibility to, you know, not just the corporations. They gotta, you know, they have a responsibility to us as a people overall. So, you know, you can blame, because I mean corporations are going to try to get what they can get. They're going to do everything they can, but the government is supposed to be able to negotiate that balance where, okay, yeah, we understand you need this, that, and that, but if you overreach, then that's going to leave the people who what I'm saying. So it seems to be more that they're in more cahoots with the corporations than the people who they're actually supposed to be protecting. So I mean,
Yeah, they're supposed to be the middleman, but see, the corporations are all in you can't even separate the corporations from the government anymore. They're all up in there. And then with the lobbyists and everything, like I say, it's a revolving door. It's the same damn people. They all go to school together and shit. Their kids go to school together. It's the same freaking people. He said they got that way by paying the government to skew the laws in their way, and I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that at all, but that's the state of affairs. We can't completely just blame the government. What I'm saying is these greedy ass corporations, bro, and then they got way more power over our life than the government anyways. Like you said, the government is to rein them in anyways, to kind of be a middleman, to try to make them be fair. So, but they have a whole bunch of power over your life. Who decides what time you have to get up and go to work? Who decides, where you can live? How much you can afford to pay for rent?
Well, that's true to a certain extent, but at the same time, it's supposed to be a fair trade-off. Like why does one have to win 300 times over the person who's actually doing the work? You know what I'm saying? We're not saying that you need to take a loss, but why do you know what I'm saying? Like, and then what time you get up and go to work? Okay, I mean that's an agreement that you've made before you take the job. In most cases, yeah, sometimes it changes in the middle, but where I think it's more important to focus is the fact that we have corporations that don't pay fairly. They get subsidized for things that they don't project back into the community, to the people, to their employees. You know what I'm saying? Like these subsidies that they're getting from the government should benefit us more, to where, for those of us that do work, work in these corporations, like they should, at least if they're going to be gone all day from their family, why do they need to go pick up a second job, or doing other things to try to just to have what's the term Sanders used, just to have a livable wage? You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of different things that the government can set in place, but they're a part of the problem. They're the biggest problem.
Yeah,
in my opinion. Wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it. I remember that. I think that's a made-up story, but it says, how much should he give her? Man stole his girlfriend's $10K to play bet, won $100 million, and gave her $10K back. She is furious, wants $40 million.
Yeah, he should give her more than that $10K. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just a good one of those good things, just to kind of ask to, check somebody's greed. I mean, $100 million. I mean, shit? Give her half. Give her 50. I mean, shit.
It's easy to say that. That I wouldn't give her no 10K either, but I don't know about giving her 50. But I wouldn't have even been in that situation because I don't steal from people.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing. I mean, and when you really look at all of the different factors involved, okay, you stole the money. First of all, you went, you gambled with it, but you actually came up, you actually won from it. I mean, shit, just pretend like you only won 50. I mean, for me, like I said, and then I mean, if this is girlfriend, are they breaking up? They splitting ways. I mean, they're probably splitting ways now because he insulted her with 10K. You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of bitch ass nigga are you? You know what I'm saying? you
Like,
gonna
and that's the first thing I think when I hear that story. I mean, like, how was y'all in a relationship? Like, what kind of relationship did y'all have? Were y'all?
yeah. I mean, I mean, I don't. The only reason why I really want an abundance of money is to be able to help other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if all right, shit, give her 10 million. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, if if you type of person that want to help other people, you don't want to just give up all your resources just on that. Okay, it's fine. Give her 10 million.
Yeah.
10,000? Come on, bro. 10,000 shit, you can spend that in a few days. Shit, he gonna spend 10,000. Shit. He gonna spend more than 10,000 in one day. The first car he buy.
Damn, 7310.
What?
We was talking about those Canadian. Remember we talked about that? Them bodies they found under the them damn schools in Canada. It was the schools where changing the Indians, trying to make them civilized and shit.
Oh Lord.
Anyways, I'm finna wrap it. It's 3:16. We're a little over 2 hours, I think. I'm gonna wrap it. He said, Doc said I'd give her 20 mil. He said 1.7 mil is in a reasonable investment will net you 5 to 6K a month forever. He said I'd give her 20 mil.
I mean, yeah. I mean, easy. I mean, to me, I don't know. To me,
wait, I got a comment on this where he said, hold on. They got that way by giving the government. Oh yeah, and then he said if the government keeps out of it and just maintains a level field, then wages, prices, housing work itself out normally on the side of workers. No, that is absolutely not true. Read your look up the history of the unions, the way they came across the United States. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for the unions, Workers' Party or whatever the hell that shit was, that's how they got rid of the child labor. That's how they got the 5-day work week, the 8-hour work day, the weekends. They got all that shit through the unions.
Well, I mean, if the government steps out of the way, like, I mean, there's slavery all over again because
Yeah, exactly.
private companies are going to just be like, okay, they agree to, because they need something. If there's no regulations set by a higher power, then we're going back into what we were in before.
And they've been crushing the unions. They've been crushing them. They crushed them. They barely existing right now. Very few strong unions. Very, very few.
Well, it said working it out itself. Working.
He said that's what I mean. Work itself out.
I'm confused.
I think he's talking about, like I say, he said earlier. He said if the government keeps out of it and just maintains a level field, then wages, prices, and housing work itself out normally on the side of the
average
workers.
The average person are not great negotiators.
Exactly.
Because the fear of loss lives in more people than you think. And if they know like they need this job so bad, they're gonna almost agree to anything just to be able to get crumbs. So if it's not for the government setting boundaries for the people, I mean, because in most cases, the the corporation, the plantation, whatever, however you want to see it, they're gonna be more in a position to win. So that's why they need to set up things that's gonna definitely protect, because I mean, like you said, they'll have people working 7 days a week. You know, like they'll pay them $2 an hour when like they're gonna need at least 10, or whatever the case may be. There's no, I mean, you have to have those people putting those policies and really laws into play.
He says that's the level field. Excuse me. That's the level field part. Set safety and minimum wages, facilitate unions and mass negotiations. See, you can't really do that because, again, the right wing gonna cut your head off. They're gonna say, "Big government, get out of here! You can't. You're out. They took our job." Like, no.
Well, I mean, do we need big government?
I don't think so either, but that's what I'm saying. Not that much into it. And of course, they're not going to facilitate unions. And if it's a government union, niggas not going to join that shit. They're going to be like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Unless they work for the government. You know what I mean? Like everybody else, like the regular people, like if it's somehow like connected to the government, that's going to give it a taint. And, unions should be set up by the people. And ran by the people.
What if everybody was in a partnership with the company that they work for? Because I mean, I'm one of those type of people. Like anybody that's worked for me, I always pay them a percentage of what I make. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it was really fair, 25% of a gross. Well, let's just say that's the way it was done with me. But let's just say 25% of the profits goes to all of the workers, and then when it's split up, everybody's able to make 100,000 a year. They still got operating costs that's gonna take up 25%. There's gonna be. They can take 25% and split it up against CEOs, or the management, this, that, and the other, where they might be making a quarter of a million. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, if it really worked that way, I mean, there could be different ways to solve a lot of these issues, but
But they have those. They have worker co-ops. They should be bigger though. We should have more of those. It says it's bigger government to maintain a welfare state.
Well, yeah.
He said, look at Tesla. Their work arrangement is awesome. I don't think all the way down the line, I don't know if that's true, because probably there's pieces like the parts of the pieces of the batteries. Like they say a lot of that stuff comes out of the Congo. And they probably got literally little kids out there digging through the dirt for that shit. It's those little the parts that they use to make the batteries.
The cobalt. There's something else out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right, man. I'm gonna wrap it, y'all, because I gotta take my son to the bus station, right? I think we're going to the bus station. I gotta do that in the morning, and then I work all day. And then Monday, I have to freaking write paper, big ass research paper. I ain't gonna lie. The next show is probably gonna have a whole bunch of influence because I've really been kind of writing this paper the whole semester. I haven't actually written it yet, but
you've been putting pieces together for it.
Yeah, and this is gonna be my final, and it's gonna be about Haiti and how they fit in the global, the global economic position that they hold. You know what I'm saying? And how the U.S. and other countries have influenced it and shaped it into what it is today. That's basically what it's kind of a critique of capitalism and how it relates to culture and like how the state, basically the state of the government, like damn, it's hard for me to explain this. It's a mouthful though. I'm gonna clear my thoughts up with that, definitely. Like I said, so I'm gonna write this paper, and Wednesday we'll probably talk about that. The other paper I have to write is about the diseases of antiquity. It's interesting, y'all. Y'all think y'all would like it. We was talking about.
I'm interested. I would.
This semester we did the history of like a number of diseases. One of them was COVID. We talked about we ended on COVID, but we talked about Ebola and pretty much all the ones that you would think of, syphilis, like and about how the evolution of man, like how they got into us, originally, and how we pass them around each other and how they have impacted man historically. Because when you look at history, you're gonna see disease and then that's gonna be like a flashpoint, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Like a huge part of the story. You know what I mean? And in a lot of cases, if you look at World War II, I mean, I can't think of one that doesn't fit. Every single major event in history, disease played a huge part of it. So that humans and how we move around, feces, not washing our hands. You know what I'm saying? Also parasites. Because see, parasites is what we originally our most of our original diseases were from parasites, which can be pretty nasty, but we've gone now because we live in cities and shit. We got these diseases that's related to hygiene and related to like people just being in and a lot to do with sewage. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, feces. So,
Okay.
anyways,
you've definitely said that a couple times. So
because this is super important. Like that's the main thing that be getting us sick. One of the main things that get us sick is people not washing their hands when they or not being sanitary with their poop and not being able, like latrines or like sewage systems and shit like that.
Is that disease and disaster is what he means by D&D?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Diseases and plagues. Yeah. In every history, I'm telling you, in every history story.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. So that's a preview for next week's shows.
Yeah, I'm get myself together. I slept a good bit today. That's why I'm still up like I am now. But I'm gonna get. I still got about 400, 500 miles to roll tomorrow, so it ain't too bad.
Where you at now? Because you was in Kentucky, right?
That was last week. Yeah, that was
shit.
that was that was
like a couple days ago.
Wednesday. Yeah, that was on Wednesday. Yeah. Now I'm in Wisconsin right now.
Oh.
So
how far are you away from Kenosha? Yeah.
Oh shit. That's a little ways away. It's not too far from. That's maybe another 100, 200 miles from where I am. I'm in Mauston. That's a little town, Wisconsin. But I'm heading towards Minneapolis. I'll be passing through there in the morning. You got any books, man? Is it Guns, Germs,
and Steel. That sounds familiar. Like, did they do a documentary about the book, or is there a documentary with the same name? That sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm. I hadn't read any fantasy in a while. I've been dealing with more history the last couple years. Really, that's more so what I've been looking at. But it would be cool, something to kind of take my head out of it. Like I've had to kind of just put some of that stuff to the side for a while because it becomes a lot.
Yeah, it does. You should. You have to take breaks. You have to have balance. And I've read fantasy. Some of my favorite, I think it's one called the Twin Gunslinger or some shit like that. I don't know, and it was like some fantasy shit like that, and like futuristic shit, and like I don't know, you can get lost in it, and you can learn from it too, you know. And not what I say about reading. I tell everybody, read whatever the hell you want, because you're gonna learn something.
Well,
There ain't no
yeah.
doubt about it. Ain't no doubt about it, because I done learned a lot from like horror fiction novels. Like literally learn stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's the main shit I like to read is horror fiction, and I swear I've learned from a number of those books. They might have done a doc based on it. That's probably what I saw.
Hold on, what was it called? They said
Guns, Germs, and Steel. Yeah. Because I'm gonna have to wrap it. Let's see if I can get some else.
I see an audio book on it. Yeah, no, yeah, that's a documentary. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, I see it. 54 minutes. Might check that out. Like I'll probably check that out myself. I probably seen it and I'll probably watch it again. I love this
Stuff,
shit.
I like listening to stuff like this while I'm running down the highway. That's know what I'm saying. As long as it's got a little, it's intriguing.
I like the authenticity. Like whenever it's just like people being how they really are, that is super interesting to me all the time. I don't care what culture they are, where they are around the world.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that 1984 was prediction, not a warning? A lot of people are saying that right now. I'm going to wrap it, y'all. Peace and love. Thank y'all for coming. Thank you for your time, Pat.
Sure enough, man.
I got to wrap it, y'all.
Yeah, it's all good. I feel you. I need to go on and check in myself. Or shall I say check out?
Yeah.
So I'll talk to you during the week, man.
All right, yeah, man. Hit me up.
For sure.
All right, y'all. Peace and love. Y'all have a good night.